Hi, I'm Nan Simonson. I have a YouTube channel, YouTube Nan Simonson. It's just my name. It works best if there's a space between Nan and Simonson when you type it. In any case, I had a comment recently, would you tell us what you eat in a day? I'm not going to do that right now, but what I'm about to show you is kind of what I do in a day. I have a typical breakfast, a typical lunch, but dinner I try to make as simple as possible. And what I'm going to do today is use part of another meal and make something that will be part of a future meal. But in the meantime, I'm starting with portobello mushrooms and a roasted portobello mushroom dish that we just love. So I could have used 2 for each of us. I bought these at Trader Joe's and they happened to come in a package of 3. And I made a sauce that is so simple. It's balsamic vinegar and soy sauce and garlic and grated ginger. And instead of olive oil, because I don't use processed oils or any oils, I put in a half a spoonful of almond butter, whip that in, and then soy sauce. And it's very flavorful. And what I'm gonna start with is just brushing the mushrooms, the gills to start with the sauce, and laying them out here to marinate for about 15 minutes. And then I'll get back to you and I'll show you what I'm going to do and tell you a little more about the meal. So I'm brushing them, and this was enough sauce for 4 large mushrooms. I may add just a little bit more, probably soy sauce. Okay, let it sit. I'll be back with you in about 15 minutes and then I'll explain further, and then I'll add at the end what I've made. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm back. So I've been marinating the mushrooms. I put a little bit more soy sauce. I also did something a little, well, unconventional. I have a broth for the leftovers of a previous meal. And again, I'll tell you about that. But let me just get this in the oven, because these are gonna take about 30 minutes to cook. And they're gonna release a lot of juice, which mushrooms do. They get soft and they release juice. So I'm sort of brushing what already came out from when we put the sauce on the gills. Just brushing some right back on again. Okay. Yum, yum, yum. And what will happen, excuse me, is that they will somewhat collapse. They'll flatten and collapse. So I could put them in my big oven. I could have put both of my dishes in, and I'll tell you about the other one. But I decided to just put them both in the Breville oven. I have a Breville hot air, hot air air fryer oven. And is that what it's called? Breville hot air? I think so. I love it, just love it, because I can do air frying, but I can also bake and roast and toast and proof bread, which I don't do, dehydrate, which I haven't. But anyway, so I'm gonna get this in. It's 400 in a conventional oven. I turned it to convection because I'm putting 2 things in the oven and I really need some air circulation. So I'm gonna put this in actually on the bottom. Okay, and what I'm putting in with it, this looks odd, doesn't it? But this is an eggplant I've cut in half, and actually I'm not going to do the demo or give you the recipe because you can find this recipe. It's just a moment. It's called Nut Butter Roasted Eggplant, and you'll find it in my on my YouTube channel, or it may just be called Roasted Eggplant. You'll find it on my YouTube channel. What's lovely about it is that I was able to cut the eggplant in half, put them on a non-stick pan or a pan lightly oiled, but I don't use oil, so I usually use a very safe non-stick pan. I like all-clad or scan pan, and pressed it down while it browned on the cut surface. On each cut surface, they both fit very nicely in the pan. And then I put a mixture that's somewhat similar to what I'm using with the mushrooms, but it's miso and soy sauce and date paste to sweeten it up some, and some grated ginger and nut butter, and it creates sort of a paste. After I browned it, I scored it, brushed that on. That's telling me that it's ready. And this is ready to go. I think what I'm gonna do is add, remember I said I had a little bit of the broth from the last meal, and I'll talk about the last meal in just a second as soon as I get this in. So I'm even gonna add a little of the broth, but I've never done that before. It's really not necessary. I just wanted to kind of shine it up a little bit. And I'm putting this in the top of the oven. So it's on convection 375, which is the equivalent of a 400-degree oven. So what is this meal about? Well, again, on my YouTube channel, I have a Portobello pot roast that is wonderful. And it's not a real pot roast. I'm whole food, plant-based, and everything I do is based on a non-meat or animal product of any kind plant-based diet. I've been eating like that for 4 years, and at 71 I feel healthier than ever. So the pot roast is carrots and potato and these portobello mushrooms and a nice rich sauce, and it's just done on the stove. Well, we had potatoes and carrots left over, and I thought, well, I'll lay that out in a dish that I'm going to microwave just to heat. So our meal is going to be tonight the leftovers from this plus the broth that I'm going to thicken a little bit so that this will be rather moist. Then we're going to have one of those eggplant halves, the other half, the deeper one, will be for another meal and a side dish. The beauty of plant-based is that we eat a lot, and we eat a lot of plant-based, it's almost like side dishes all added together. So we're going to have the mushrooms, and they're going to be browned, and you'll see I'll add a photo of the mushrooms when they're finished to the end of this video. So we'll have the beautiful browned mushrooms, and we're going to have the eggplant, which is very moist and luscious inside with that wonderful nutty miso, and I use, instead of soy sauce, I use tamari because I avoid gluten. And then we'll have this on the side. And from our farm store, let me show you, I got some beautiful heirloom tomatoes. Look at this beauty. And so I'm going to do a fresh tomato, red onion, cucumber salad over which I drizzle a reduced balsamic vinegar and put some sliced Kalamata olives. So we're gonna have a feast. I hope you try this recipe. I hope you like it as much as I do. It's a nice way to use portobello mushrooms. Have a great day, because I know I'm going to. Bye-bye.